𝐑𝐞𝐜𝐭𝐨𝐫𝐬 𝐂𝐨𝐧𝐼𝐶, and a very warm welcome to all of you in today's Rectors Conference. I'm truly grateful to Chairman Absa for giving me the opportunity to present our journey of character mastery at Superior University. The topic I'm going to discuss today is not an alien concept or radically a new agenda. The objective of my presentation is to provide an actionable and conceptual framework to cultivate character in higher education. So before going to discuss what is character mastery framework of Superior, it is important to discuss why there is a need of character mastery. So if I recall my presentation last year's Rectors Conference, in which I presented my model of 3U1M with global experience, and where I presented a case that how universities can play their important role in preparing the workforce for a global market. The important agenda was to prepare our workforce or to prepare our youth to become part of global workforce. And for that purpose, we traveled to many destinations and met with various ambassadors and Pakistani communities in Netherlands, Spain, Oman, and UAE. So we were quite sad to know that Pakistanis are not preferred because of their attitude and work ethics. And then I met with my local employers to find out the reason or the gaps in our university graduates. So most of them, although employers look for character or skills, but they always place a greater importance on the character. So they highlighted important gaps that our youth in university, they lack purpose, commitment, and they always look for shortcuts. They never appear on time in interviews, so they lack sense of responsibility. So having such feedback from the employers, we engaged our Center for Contemporary Islamic Studies to conduct a research with our faculty and students to further understand the dilemma or the phenomena that why these gaps are. So the feedback from the faculty also reflects the similar gaps that students lack serious attitude and they lack respect, they are not disciplined. And the feedback from students also highlights that their faculty use favoritism and they are not role model for them. They lack empathy and compassion. So overall, it is leading towards directionless youth, compromised professionalism, poor global reputation, and building towards intolerant society. So we took this agenda at national level. We conducted a series of regional roundtables all over Pakistan, in which 120 vice chancellors participated. And the findings of the roundtable suggest that most of them place a great importance on character, but there are certain confusions in understanding what it is and how we can conceptualize in higher education. The findings of roundtables also highlight the similar gaps in students and faculty, and they also highlight that how the gaps, how the attitude and the behaviors of faculty not only correlates but also affects the behavioral outcomes of the students. For example, if students lack clarity, purpose, and commitment, this is probably because faculty they do not inspire them. They lack counseling and guidance support. And if they lack respect, this is probably because faculty is not the role model and they lack empathy and compassion. So there was a serious dilemma which was debated during our regional roundtables, that can character be taught or is it the aim of higher education? I must say that these days, universities are struggling to justify the value of education they provide, and their contribution towards society and towards greater good of the society is also being questioned. So mostly the findings of the roundtable suggest that there are some participants who believe that character cannot be taught because students are beyond age and most of them have already been shaped by their early education or their upbringing. Well, being qualitative researcher and coming from life course perspective, I somehow disagree to this notion, because an individual's life course is shaped by various life transitions and trajectories, and the quest for learning and improving oneself never stops. So therefore, I strongly believe that some of the virtues can be educable and can be amendable over an individual's university life. And therefore, I strongly believe, because the research or the literature also suggests that it is the responsibility of educational institutions to teach character by providing them the environment where they can provide an environment where they can foster their virtuous behaviors. So therefore, I strongly believe that character can be caught through inspirational influence, can be taught through language, knowledge, and understanding, and can be sought through providing various opportunities where individuals can pursue their character development. So having said that character can be taught, so one of the important considerations would be to look at where in university does character education belong to. So that requires a very holistic approach if we really want to foster character development agenda at higher education. So we need to look every facet of the university. For example, we need to look at the culture of the university. What is the ethos of the university? What is the vision, mission, and the values, and how these values are being practiced in the university? And as far as teaching and learning is concerned, we need to look at how educators are integrating character virtues in their disciplines and how they are moving teaching from transaction to being transformational. And what kind of research is being done within the university on character development, and what kind of values we actually look into a skilled researcher. So obviously, we need to carefully look at the role of co-curricular and extracurricular activities, that how they are helping to shape the character of our students and faculty and staff. And obviously, we need to carefully look at the admission process, that what kind of values are we taking into account while admitting applicant in the university in their relevant field of study. And there is also important facet of the university, that is the career support and the career services. So we need to look at how proactive the career support is at university, and how well students are being encouraged to develop and identify the virtues that needed in the future of work. So by implementing character education into every facet of the university, I believe the universities can play their important role by preparing students not just for careers only, but also for purposeful, ethical, and socially responsible life. So that's how we need to look at character education agenda, that how in the university we can foster this agenda to prepare the next generation of ethical leaders. So having developed the context that why there is a need and what is the significance of having character education within the higher education, so now I will share what kind of initiative we used to implement in university to foster our character mastery agenda in the university. So first and foremost step we took in the university was to revise the mission of the university. We ensured that our mission not only enhanced their knowledge and skills, but also focus on developing the character of the individuals. So that's how we incorporated the character mastery domain in our mission of the university. So this mission statement is our live document, and we always, every day we live with our mission of the university, because it is the driving force to look critically at the role of the university, that how we can improve our impact as a university in the society. So first of all, I would like to share that how our character mastery framework evolved over the years. As I already said, that our commitment to developing and understanding the character mastery framework arose from our primary and secondary research. So we did primary research with our key stakeholders, and then we also established a cross-functional group across the university to ensure that our character mastery agenda is visible and implemented. And after a thorough review of literature available on character from psychology or from education perspective, we have been able to identify the character strengths and the virtues that are needed in the age of artificial intelligence. And we devised the implementation framework. So that's how our character mastery framework evolved over the period of 1 year. And I must acknowledge here that the entire concept of character mastery has been not only envisioned and developed by our chairman of the group, Professor Dr. 𝐂𝐨𝐬 𝐂𝐨𝐧𝐿. He always encouraged us to look critically at our role in the moral awakening of our graduates. So that's how the entire project of character mastery initiated and implemented in the university. So our character mastery framework, let me reiterate here that there is no single model or off-the-shelf blueprint to cultivate a character. So the aim of our framework is to bring clarity to the idea of character education in higher education and the holistic development of character among individuals. So our character mastery framework has 7 virtues, which is transcendence, temperance, justice, wisdom and knowledge, courage, integrity, and humanity. And for each virtue, there are corresponding character strengths. And altogether, we have identified 31 character strengths. And there is one meta virtue, which is practical wisdom. Practical wisdom is help individuals to navigate. They give them capacity to reason well regarding the right thing to do, even at the face of difficult situations. So practical wisdom can be cultivated through experience, judgment, and reflection. So ultimately, these character strands and virtues adds to the 4 facets of success, which is personal, professional, spiritual, and societal success. So that's how the framework looked like in the university. One of the guiding principles of our character mastery framework is that it provides actionable agenda at individual level. So at individual level, we designed or we adapted a tool, which is value in action classification tool that helps individual to measure their character strength and to devise improvement plans. At university level, this framework helps us to design targeted intervention that is needed across the university by taking a holistic approach, whether it's in academic programs or student engagement or governance of the university. So to implement this character framework over the year, we utilized 7 strategies inspired by the work of Aristotle. So the first strategy was virtue vocabulary. As Chairman Saab has already advised in the last presentation or last speech that how we develop the virtue vocabulary, given the acknowledgement that the virtue vocabulary is not very well defined in higher education. So, and most of the people are not fully aware of the concept or the idea of virtues or the language of the virtue and the character strengths. So there was a dire need to conduct various boot camps, workshops, and seminars with faculty to develop virtue vocabulary. So we conducted various boot camps, training workshops, and we try to engage our faculty and staff to learn the virtue vocabulary through our superior character mastery framework. The next strategy was role modeling. For role modeling, we draw inspiration from the life of Prophet and the teaching of Prophet, because we believe that he is the ultimate role model for the humanity regardless of any religion. And Allah said in Quran that you surely has the excellent standard of character So he's the ultimate role model. And I personally believe that the character virtues cannot be passively possessed. They can actively cultivate it through practice and role modeling. So for role modeling, we draw inspiration from the life of Prophet and Seerah of Prophet, because our approach to character mastery inspired from the role modeling. And at the university, we try to ensure to become role model first, then rather than teaching character to others. Because I believe that if we wish to produce leaders with integrity, we must act with integrity ourselves. So for habituation was done through reading and sports program. So for reading, 2 books were mandatory for the faculty and staff: The Trust and Inspire and 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. They were encouraged to read and reflect on their daily work practices, that how we can bring improvements in our daily work practices and make our work more professional. And for habituation, we also designed a dedicated faculty sports program through which we try to ensure that how they exhibit character virtues in the field. So that's how the habituation was done in the university. And the 4th strategy was to conduct reflective sessions with the faculty. So we organized a series of reflective sessions to assess and understand their knowledge and understanding about character virtues and how they are implementing these character virtues into their daily practices. So these were reflective sessions we conducted with faculty and the staff to ensure that they have been understanding the character mastery framework and they are implementing this framework into their daily work practice. So after having the reflective sessions with faculty and staff, we organized various certification and badge ceremonies for the moral persuasion. Because moral persuasion, we consider it one of the best strategy through which we try to remind each other how we can actually implement or exhibit the character virtues which we identified in the character mastery framework. So badges and certificates were given to those who qualified the criteria, and these badges symbolizes the moral reinforcement of character virtues. So after moral persuasion, the next strategy was to develop the mutual accountability. So for mutual accountability, we developed the moral code and we established accountability circles. And these circles were given, they were accountable to each other. And this accountability circles provided a supportive environment where everyone was encouraged to give their feedback and to receive their constructive feedback in order to bring the improvements in the university. I think this approach incredibly helped us to build a sense of shared responsibility for the enforcement of character virtues mutually. And a dedicated reward and recognition system was designed comprehensively in order to foster a culture where virtuous behaviors and character can be acknowledged and rewarded. So that's how we use 7 strategies to implement our character mastery framework. Apart from these strategies, our focus was to take a very holistic approach in the university and to design some interventions in the academic programs and student engagement as well. So by taking a very holistic approach, we designed various interventions across 3U1M journey of student. So in academic interventions, first of all, as you all know that we have a framework of 3U1M. So in the first year of freshman program, we introduced a module that deals with what, why, and how part of the character mastery framework in the university. Then we revamped the entire Islamic studies course by integrating Seerah of Prophet ﷺ. And we also revamped our English language course by integrating, as I mentioned, 2 important books, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and Trust and Inspire, so that students learn about habituation. And we are promoting stewardship through our social entrepreneurship program, which is our community development program for students. And we also introduced ethical business practice training in entrepreneurship teaching and training program, which is in the 3rd year. And we also introduced a workplace ethics orientation in the 1M journey. 1M is our market intensive year. So obviously we designed a workplace ethics that how we can respond to the feedback of the employers. And then we are also organizing and conducting research at the postgrad level on character development dimensions, that how it can be fostered and what are the implications of research at higher education level as far as the character development is concerned. So as far as the student engagement interventions are concerned, we have a very dedicated and institutional system of meaningful engagement at Superior University. We have dedicated clubs, societies, and student voice leaders at every class level. So we designed a leadership program for students on character development. We have also mapped their co-curricular and extracurricular activities with the character strengths, so that we can map what kind of character strengths they are building or nurturing through co-curricular or extracurricular activities. We have also established our wellness pavilion to promote well-being or the character development through sports among students and faculty. And as far as the governance is concerned, because as I said, we need to take a very holistic and conscious approach if we really want to foster character development agenda within higher education. So as far as governance interventions are concerned, we developed a moral code and we revised our policies and processes that helps us to achieve our mission for the Character Mastery Project. And as I said earlier, that we have designed a very comprehensive reward and recognition plan where virtuous behavior can be valued and rewarded. So that's how the entire ecosystem of the university look like, that how the character mastery journey will look like in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year of student journey. And by using various strategies and interventions that require us to build a sustainable program to foster the agenda of character development within higher education. And that's how we try to achieve our mission during the past 1 year. I shared my story that how we have been able to implement our strategies and interventions, and we have focused a very dedicated approach towards fostering the character development, not only among faculty and students, but also among students. So let me conclude my presentation with the important saying of Confucius: "What's your thoughts, they become your words. What's your words, they become your actions. What's your actions, they become your behavior. What's your behavior, it becomes your character. And what's your character, it becomes your destiny." So I personally believe, so here is an important question which I really want to pose to everyone, that what role can we play in moral awakening of our graduates? I must say, if we want to nurture responsible citizens and leaders of tomorrow, then we have to put character first to develop a generation of wise thinkers and ethical leaders. So I rest my case with a strong argument that good higher education is good character education. But a very holistic and broad approach towards character development is the need of the hour if we really want to build healthy, just, and thriving societies around us. So thank you very much for your time and patience for listening to me. I've shared my Superior Character Mastery booklet and policy recommendations of regional roundtables discussions. So I request everyone to please read and give us your valuable feedback and constructive feedback in order for us to improve. And this book is open to everyone if you wish to implement these strategies in your institution. So inshallah, next year we will again meet here for the next Rector Conference, where we will be sharing our success stories, our best practices as far as the character development in higher education is concerned. So once again, thank you very much, Chairman Absar, for giving me the opportunity. Thank you very much, Chairman HEC, for hosting us today. Thank you very much, everyone.